What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 65. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and today I am joined once again by Kev. Yeah, that's right, he's back. We lied to you that episode that happened a while ago where you said he was leaving, but he's here!
We didn't know.
Who's
to say?
Who's to say what happens nowadays? You know, fucking the
Life
world's on
throws you.
fire.
Life throws you a curveball.
Yeah.
And just like in baseball, more than likely I will strike out.
Ooh.
So, swing and a miss. We're back, though.
We are.
We're happy
We're still
about
swinging.
it.
Oh, boy.
Heading back for batting practice.
Always got to get that practice in. You can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma911 every first and third Saturday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern, unless we record prematurely like we are today. But you can catch it over there. Join in the chat. Join on the conversation with us. We'd love to have you. If you can't catch it live, it's over on YouTube.com and SoundCloud.com in full MP3 and video the following Friday. Last but not least, this show is brought to you by the merch store. You can get all of your swag over there. T-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand. Support us. It'd be greatly appreciated. So yes, we are pre-recording today because I might be gone on the actual day. But once again, who is to say that's going to be the catchphrase of this fucking episode?
Life might throw him a curveball.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah, so we're just going to go fucking right into topic one. The world's on fire right now because we got the coronavirus. And no, not the beer, and I don't want to hear the lime jokes and yada yada. Everything's fucked.
You just took away half my dad joke.
Damn it! Spoiled it.
My humor is more of a dad humor, so...
Yeah, I should have known.
It's alright.
But yeah, I just wanted to talk about it, and, like... I have a big question that I want to save for later, but, like... What is going on? Like... As of recording this podcast... NBA season's canceled. NHL canceled. MLB postponed, canceled, whatever the fuck.
Delayed, yeah.
WrestleMania 36, literally maybe an hour ago, is still going on, but in an empty arena in the Performance Center.
Yeah.
I think you're not allowed to have gatherings of 50 or more people.
Yeah.
It's recommended now, don't have more than 10 people in an area.
Yeah.
Domestic travel is recommended against. International travel is pretty much banned. It's everywhere, right? As of today.
As of now, it's definitely Europe,
Yep.
including the UK and Ireland
Yep.
and Iceland, obviously, and then other hard hit areas in particular like Iran, probably Japan, Korea, China, because they're the initial.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were the first hit by China's, which despite what they're saying, it did start in China as far as we know, so that's just a fact, but seeing a lot of people say, oh no, they didn't start it. It's like, well, yeah, pretty sure. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. So there's that. Anything else big I'm missing? It's been kind of like shut down. Movies are being postponed production-wise.
And releases have been postponed. Every major, like you said, every major sporting league in this country has been canceled.
Yeah. Recently today, like, at least for New York, they have, like, a curfew on things. Like,
yeah,
they have to close at 8. You can still do, like, takeout and delivery, but you can't go there and stay. Like, you can't sit down anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know the specifics of it, but there's that. Schools, we didn't mention schools.
Yeah. Schools
are canceled, whether it's college and kids, like, and it's weird, because, like, our districts are all different. Like, some are 2 weeks. Ballston Spa's, like, not till April 20th they can go back to school.
Like, yeah, and I think, like, some schools were putting, let's say, like, today is the 15th? They were
16th.
16th. They were saying, 16th to the 20th, because that would be this week. And I think they were saying that in the hopes that, every day this whole situation is changing, and we're finding out more or we're finding out less. So I think some schools are saying, like, let's start with a week, we'll reevaluate, and then some schools are like, screw it, just to be safe, we're saying a month.
See, I haven't seen any that said a week. I've seen 2, like I said, Boston Spa's not till April 20th. Like,
yeah.
That's a whole thing. But yeah, I could see like the ride it out thing, because I mean that's a big adjustment for anybody. Like Billy was telling me how obviously he's in college and he's got the online thing now. Like they were supposed to go in Thursday, Friday, figure out like what they were doing, what paperwork they needed, or yada yada, and then they didn't go to classes those days because they got canceled. And, like, their teachers don't even know what's going on. Like, they send an email. They're like, yeah, this thing. It's just weird.
Yeah. And, the thing that I got concerned with, actually, after speaking to some other folks about, like, the school districts closing is if we ever had a bad winter when we were kids in school, and let's say we used 5 snow days and the school had 4 budgeted, we had to stay an extra day later in the summer because we went beyond what we were allotted.
Right.
We are now well past that, so our kids going to have to stay in school until July.
Right.
And then sometimes, too, like the funding that schools get from the state or from the federal government also is kind of portioned out for when the schools are in session. So if they do get pushed back into the summer, like how does that work with the various fundings and like grants and stuff? I don't know. And this is kind of uncharted territory because in our lives, I don't remember there ever having been a huge, large-scale cancellation for more. I think the most I ever had between here or growing up in Old Forge was maybe 2 snow days in a row. Maybe. I think that's the most I can remember. This is pretty significant.
Like unplanned, yeah.
Right.
Because like we've had Christmas breaks that were like almost 2 weeks.
But, yeah. I mean, like, the school says we were supposed to be open today. We're canceling. I don't think
for sure
I've ever seen more than 2 snow days in a row.
No.
I get it though. I mean, people are, especially when, like, one of the big things, not to create panic, is one of the big things they do say is, typically speaking, our age group is fine.
Right.
Typically speaking.
Right.
But then the other big concern is, the elderly or people that have other health conditions. And I've known a lot of people our age that for something happens, maybe there's an accident or whatever, they go to the doctor and then they find out they had an underlying condition. Like some doctor just discovers something randomly because they went in. So, like, the concern is, like, you don't even know if potentially you have something that could... Like, I had an uncle, this is weird, a couple of years ago, he was going in for an elective surgery on his knees, to have his knees replaced. And after he's got his surgery, and he goes in for, like, the first, like, follow-up appointment, the doctor looks at him and goes, "Oh, how long have you been a diabetic?" And my uncle's like,
"What?
Diabetic?" And it was, like, it was known by a doctor of his previously, but then they, like... Maybe somebody lost a form or something and they never told him. And he only knew because he went in for that
knee surgery.
So, I mean, I'm not saying diabetes. I don't know enough to say, like, diabetes is something that would... But, like, that's just an example. Like, either one of us could have something we don't know underneath the surface. It's not affecting us now, but...
Could.
So, I get it. And the thing is, let's say you and I, we have no underlying health conditions. More than likely, we're going to walk around without knowing we have it.
Right.
But how many people do you encounter in your day that aren't that fortunate? People with underlying conditions, the elderly, and it's like, you don't want to be the guy who doesn't know any better and gives it to other people. Like that lawyer from New Rochelle, New York, just north of the city. He didn't even know he had it, and he's walking around meeting people. He's going about his day. He's doing nothing wrong. And I know the media has been trying to make him out to be this bad guy. Like, if you don't know you're sick,
right?
You don't have like a microscope where you can go, yeah, look at that, I got something.
Exactly.
But this poor guy is walking around, and people have been getting sick because they met him. And I know me personally, I don't know this guy, but if this was me, obviously I don't think it's his fault. But I know, like, even if I knew it wasn't my fault, let's say my grandmother died, I'm going to feel terrible because to me it's going to seem like I killed her, and that's not the case. You didn't know. Now, there was one guy that knew he was sick and was tested positive, and he got, like, on a plane or something. Like, you're a tool. Yeah. At that point, you are the a-hole we're all worried about, you know? So, I get the fear. I think everybody thinks if we all kind of retreat, the people that have it right now are isolated, the rest of us stay away, when they get better, now maybe there's less chance. Like, we're letting the virus die in containment.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it, but at the same time, some of the stuff struck me as, like, wow, we're really going after this. Like, we're really trying to...
Yeah, and I think that leads into my, like, big question, quote-unquote, is, like, out of all the shit we've dealt with, not us personally, but we as a society have dealt with, why is this the big one that, like, not mass panic, that's a little dramatic, but, like, it's going to this extent? Like, obviously growing up, we heard of other problems, like, and diseases, but, like, it was, like, out there, but it was, like, we never had anything like this. I'm just, like, curious. Is it just because we're so in the dark of, like, how to take care of it? Or...
I think you got a lot of things going on, because when we were in high school, the big one was the swine flu.
Right.
And the swine flu, in terms of the number of people that had it versus the number of people that died from it,
mm-hmm.
was a much bigger thing than what this is. Like, I think in the U.S. we had like 1,000+ deaths from swine flu.
Mm-hmm.
Right now with, I think we're into the range of like a couple thousand cases in the U.S. of coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have about 55 to 60, unless that number's changed, that have been deaths. And it's typically the super elderly or the people that have health conditions.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a couple of things you have to look at. Is we are, as a world, we are growing increasingly reliant on each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if this had happened 50 years ago, there was a lot less travel, a lot less business being done across, country boundaries. So the chances of diseases like this moving around were typically much smaller.
Mm-hmm.
You think about everything you buy in a store right now is from China. Now, I'm not saying that means you go to the store and you buy like a Chinese toy, you're getting coronavirus, but it just shows that greater increase in that relationship of business and trade where people are flying back and forth.
Mm.
And with stuff like diseases, we're always playing catch up. Because, like, I remember when this first got to the U.S., there was like a couple of people in Seattle, like maybe one person in San Diego, and they were like, okay, like, this is okay, we'll just
put you aside.
And they said, like, we're gonna have these 5 airports we're gonna funnel people coming from, like, China into these airports, we'll test them, blah blah blah. And the next thing you know, there are people getting sick from the disease that, as far as anybody can tell, had no contact with people that were sick.
Right.
So I think that's when people start getting scared. Like, wait, like, if I had it and then I talk to you and then you get sick, that makes sense. But for you to be here without ever having met me, for you to get sick, people are like, oh,
mm-hmm.
oh. Plus, the other thing is, too, you look at the media. I'm not blaming any one side or anything, but my parents watch a lot of news, so when I'm over with them, I see a lot of the news.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the networks are trying to be factual and point out, like, look, this many people have it, this many people have died, the people that have died have largely been from these groups. We don't think this is going to be necessarily like a bubonic plague or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then you had some groups, or some media, where they're just like, ties like to the side, like, we're all doomed, and you got to remember, this is an election year.
Yeah.
And what bothers me right now is that people on both sides are using this as a time to get points. It's like, just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're the person in office, your job is to serve the people, protect the people, maintain their welfare. And if you're too busy sniping at other politicians from across the aisle, you're not doing your job of protecting your people.
Right.
Now, I've seen some really good things where, like, I know the governor of California is, from the Democratic Party, he's a little farther left. And then he's dealing with the White House for coordination, and obviously Trump is not from that side of the argument. And yet, when this governor was on TV, he's like, I'm working with the vice president and the president. They've said all the things I wanted them to say, in terms of federal aid and stuff. Kept it at that. And it's like, good. This is how it should be. This is not a time to be, getting your points, getting your shots in. Let's just all agree we need to do what we need to do to keep as many people safe as we can. And we'll get back to the, punching each other in the face when this is over.
Mm-hmm.
But as to why, like, I don't know if there is any one reason why.
Yeah, you mentioned the media. I talked about with Jeff last podcast, like we were talking fandoms, which is obviously totally different train of thought than what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
But we talked about like social media. Like, has that blown up the fandoms to make everybody more vocal? Like, is that the thing here too? Like, obviously, like people are making jokes about it and memes about it, and then there's all the like you said as well, people reporting facts or reporting this and that. Is like, is it that too? Like, we're just getting overload of information, so people don't know 100% what to believe or what's facts. That like, what's going on? Like, just all this stuff.
You know, and the crazy thing is, every year we have the flu.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, last year in the U.S., I think they said, I could be wrong on the number, it was about 18,000 people that died of the flu. The flu is usually pretty nasty.
Right.
And it kills people from all
wide
groups.
range, yeah.
You know, it's not just the elderly. There's kids. There's, like, actually this year, RPI had a student who was 20-something, and he died of the flu. And this is the age group where most of us usually are able to weather sickness pretty well. We're young. So it seems like it's kind of ironic to me that with this, they're reminding people, like, hey, because this is such a potential problem, wash your hands, hand sanitizer. If you don't have to be out in public, maybe try and limit your time out in public, which is what we should be doing during the flu season anyway, with that being such a big thing. And it's like we were talking about planes. They were like showing all these videos, like the airlines are putting out videos about how they're spraying down the airplanes and blah blah blah, and I'm sitting there going, that's great, but what were you doing before?
Yeah.
We've all, if you've been on an airplane, you kind of feel gross when you get off, right?
Yeah.
Like there's somebody in the seat behind you that sounds like they're about to cough up a lung. You got kids crapping in diapers around you, and you get off and you just feel gross. Like the first thing I do when I get off a plane and I'm home or at a hotel, I go and hit the shower right away. I wash my clothes. I'm like, I don't know what. And you're trying to find your seatbelt and you reach down and there's like food in the crack, and I'm like, this is great that the airlines are doing all this cleaning, but why haven't they been doing this before? Why is this not just standard practice?
It's so weird that, like, sometimes it has to be that way. Like, something has to go wrong before you realize, oh, wait, yeah, we should do that thing.
And as soon as this is gone, whenever this coronavirus goes away, the airlines aren't going to be doing all that cleaning anymore. Yeah. And it's like, why don't you just maintain that vigilance? But, funny story of that, my uncle was up at the house for dinner the other night, and he used to work for a pharmaceutical company back years ago, and he used to do a lot of cross-country traveling because the company was based out of, like, Northern California, and he obviously lives here. And one of the things he was saying was back then, you know, when you would catch a plane to be flying across the country, the planes weren't as packed. That plane that you were getting on had probably been at the airport for like 4 or 5 hours just sitting around. But the airlines are obviously trying to make a profit, so they're squeezing as many people on planes as possible, and they have fewer planes. So you now have your plane lands, people get off, people go around real quick, do a quick cleanup, and then you're boarding again. And so, you know, back when they used to have 4 or 5 hours, they used to replace like the cushion that your head would be on, or like the what do they call those? Yeah. And you know, again, it's like people are trying to look at the profit margin over anything else. They make decisions, and the next thing you know, we have planes that are basically cattle cars, and then people wonder why everybody gets sick on a plane. And I don't know. It is weird, and the thing that cracks me up is I've looked at all the symptoms of coronavirus and everything, and I go to the store, and the first thing out is toilet paper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? Like, tissues would make total sense to me. Hand sanitizer makes total sense to me. Antibacterial hand soap, I get. Toilet paper? There's nothing about coronavirus that I've seen anybody say where it makes you poop more or anything. And I'm sitting there like, my apartment ran out of toilet paper a little bit. And I go to the store and I'm like, where's all the toilet paper gone, man? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's also kind of rude that, like, I went to Hannaford a couple days ago, and you see people coming out with carts that from the bottom to the top are stocked with every food item possible. You go down the aisle and you can't find anything. And it's kind of rude, but at the same time, it's human nature where we're, like, so concerned with ourselves that we don't care that somebody else that might need something that we're only buying not because we need now, but because we'll think we'll need in a couple weeks.
Right.
Now that person can't. I don't know. It's just kind of weird, and, like, I know my parents were going store to store because they needed some toilet paper at the house, just normal stock up.
Yeah.
Not a like we're trying to hoard.
Yeah.
And we went to all these stores in the area, can't find anything. Finally, my dad and I were up at Lake George the other day, and he was like, you know what, just run into the grocery store in Bolton Landing, because we figure there's less people and whatever. And I walk in, and they've got, like, single roll of toilet paper you could buy, and I'm like, I guess we'll have to grab them some of these. And there was, like, a 2-roll limit or something. And this lady, though, came up to me in the aisle, and she goes, would you like one of these? And she had 2, like, 4-packs of, like, nice toilet paper. And I was like, well, if you don't mind. She's like, no, of course not. Like, if you need it, here. And she gave it to me. I'm like, okay, nice human being.
Right.
But then you see all these folks with, like, basically what amounted to a Mack truck of food. And I'm like, come on, guys. Like, you're just making this worse. You're feeding the hysteria. Because now the media goes to the grocery stores. And they're like, look at these empty shelves. And more people are like, I need to get there before it's all out. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. And, like... you talked about hand sanitizer. You see in New York's making their own hand sanitizer now?
Well, and being New York, we couldn't even just do that. We had to mess up how we were doing it because they're like, oh, where are we making all this hand sanitizer? Like, we're having the prisoners make it in the prisons. And then they're like, are you paying them? And they're like, not
65
really.
cents an hour. Or
and now we're having a debate on whether inmates in our prisons should be making minimum wage and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god.
I didn't see any update. Like, I remember the first announcement of it, and I was like, wow, 65 cents, Jesus Christ. But, like, that argument, personally, no. Like, I get more than 65 cents, but, like, they're fucking in there for a reason. That's a whole other topic.
Well, yeah, and you know what I mean? It's like, alright, let's just assume your average state medium to max security. These aren't nice guys. Typically, they've done something where everybody was like, whoa, we gotta put this guy away for a while, right? Like, are you really worried that a serial killer isn't making minimum wage as he's making hand sanitizer? That's your big concern?
But then he's gonna kill me, Kevin, because he's gonna remember that I didn't pay him.
I mean, like, look, obviously I don't think people in the prison system shouldn't be taken care of. Obviously, they're, like, the state is responsible for them, but, like, paying them $15 an hour when you have guys working, like, jobs that haven't done anything wrong aren't making that? Like,
yeah, for sure.
I'm sorry, I'm playing the world's smallest violin here, you know? Like,
yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. It's a really weird moment in time. Like, you look at, like, past world pandemics. Like, after World War I, there was a really strong flu that, like, wiped out a lot of people. I would get the hysteria there. I'm not saying to take coronavirus lightly. I don't think you should do that at all, especially when you consider how many people in your life could be at risk. But what I'm saying is just do the stuff you should have been doing for flu anyway.
Yeah.
Wash your hands. You know, don't be in the subway and then start shoving a hot dog down your mouth without washing your hands. Like, these are common hygiene principles. And if you're, like, thinking about going to a movie and you're like, I don't really know if I want to see that or not, well, then
you don't have to go out.
Maybe take into consideration staying home, doing something else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not... it kind of stinks for the temporary time, but if everybody kind of just not withdraws, but lowers their public profile a little bit for a little while, maybe we push through this a little quicker.
Yeah, and
I don't know.
That's my thought too. Like, I'm not saying we need to be in this big panic, but yeah, I think, like, if people are in this mode where, like, oh, it's not that big a deal, like, I was definitely that way, and then obviously kind of the ball got rolling. I was like, oh, yeah. Okay. Like, there's still people going out and doing things, and I just don't want that to, like you said, cause this to make it go longer. Like, if
Right.
we can all understand, like, it's not the end of the world, but, like you said, slow down a little bit, yeah, maybe it'll blow over quicker, and then, yeah, we can get back to going out to amusement parks and sporting events and whatever.
Well, it's, I mean, like, I don't really know what movies are out right now, but, I mean, if there's a movie you really want to see right now, and there's any bit of you that's wondering if you should go or not, it'll be out on the
3
internet
months.
to stream in a couple months anyway. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, like, going to see a movie, if you choose not to go see it, your life is not going to end.
Yeah, I mean...
However, if you do go, and somebody around you is sick, and you bring it home, I don't know. I mean, it just seems smart just to... Don't buy into the panic, don't buy into hysteria, don't go to the grocery store and buy out a whole shelf. But, you know, just be smart. Think big term. If it's a movie or something you want to go see or whatever, just dial back a little bit.
Yeah.
And if it's a Fast and the Furious movie, just absolutely never go to see it.
He's calling back to the pre-show.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what else you can really say about it. I mean, it's just...
It's weird.
Yeah.
Weird times.
Like, cause, like, you know, you don't wanna say anything that belittles this.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think about it, right now in the country, there are almost 60 families that have lost somebody for this. That's quite a few people that now have a personal understanding of what this can be.
And that's just our own country. Like, we haven't even touched on Italy and Germany. Yeah. Like, obviously, they're
just
fucked at the moment.
I mean, yeah, you had, was it yesterday? Like, over 300 people die in Italy in 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's 300 families now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like you don't want to belittle it, but you also want to be realistic and say if I'm smart, if I follow basic hygiene principles, and everybody else in society does this, we all lower our chances. So it's like take it seriously, but don't make it where you're in like a safe room in your house with like a straw going out to like a mile in the air to get clean air. I mean, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like, it's like every single channel is talking about this. I turn on the weather channel just to find out if it's going to rain today, and it's like, what's the effect of coronavirus with the weather? And I'm like, what? Why? What?
And it gets like, it's so, like, it's bad to say, but it gets so annoying. It's like, I get it. Well, move on.
And this is actually the huge problem with the news today. Like, when our parents were kids, there was like a half-hour block at night where they had like a national news. Like when they were kids, it was that Walter Cronkite guy, and that was your news.
Yeah.
And then if you ever, if you ever got like this just in breaking news bulletin, back then you knew this is like, oh, this is the
time.
Well, I'm sitting in the airport, they've got CNN on, and it's like every 5 minutes breaking news, and it's usually nothing actually.
It's like an updated quote that you just heard 2 minutes ago from the guy talking.
Well, and it's like they used to teach us something in science class in high school that like if you're in a parking lot and somebody's car alarm starts going off, you're looking to see what car. Yeah. But then once it's been on for a couple minutes and it's you forget, you habituate to where it doesn't even register, it's still going off. This is what the news is doing. Instead of making everybody in America realize how serious this is, now you have people who are like, oh my God, enough of this coronavirus, like whatever, you know, and then like, they're doing themselves a disservice. I don't know. It's like this 24 hours, we always have to be shoving breaking news in your face. When I see breaking news now, I don't stop what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. It's almost like, I don't know if it's the right phrasing, but like boy cries wolf. Like, if you just keep saying it, like, nobody's gonna believe you that it's this big deal per se. Like, okay, for example, when like you're listening to the radio or the TV and they do that wah, like they go, oh, this is the emergency weather update or whatever the fuck, like that, you're like, oh, okay, something's going on, because they don't do it that often.
Well, and talk about needing to stock up on toilet paper. When that thing starts blaring on you, like there's like an Amber Alert or something, and like you're asleep and you're like, oh, the Russians are attacking, you know, like. And I had one night I was driving through Schenectady, and my phone starts going, and thankfully I was at a red light, and I've got like one of those phone holder things, so I look over, and it's like a snow squall is about to hit you, and I'm like, what? And then I look up, there's this like Game of Thrones wall of snow coming at me, and I'm like, what the? And then next thing you know, in 5 minutes it was over and done with, but I was like, I'm like, I could use some toilet paper right now. That sound goes off, and you think you're looking for like a kidnapped girl, or you know, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think it's necessary to be like constant. Like, they should just have like an hour every day to talk about coronavirus, right? And if there's any big updates in the last 24 hours, give it to us in that 24. Now, granted, like if they're like science discovers coronavirus is mutated and anybody that has it's gonna die within 10 minutes. Okay, breaking news, breaking news. But telling me like, and I don't. This is gonna sound terrible, but like. Telling me that Tom Hanks tested positive, breaking news. Alright, this is the other thing that kills me about America. You have a couple thousand regular Americans that have come down with coronavirus, and what do? They just go to their apartments or whatever, they quarantine, they wait it out. Celebrities get it, and it becomes a 10 to 20 minute news story, like Tom Hanks and his wife are quarantined in Australia. What's going to happen to them? Well, you know, they're no more special or different than any other American. Like, and those people are just doing the responsible thing, sitting it out, being home. But we got, oh my God, it's like every 10 minutes, we're like, oh, new celebrities got coronavirus. Well, are they in my backyard? Whatever. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. But it's something to talk about, Kev. It's something new.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I give it like another 2 weeks, and then whether coronavirus is over or not, the news media is going to have something new to focus on to pump up the hysteria wagons, and I don't know. I try to fly the middle course, my friend. Be cautious. Don't freak out. Don't take it not seriously. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's like I said. Overall, it's a weird time we're living in. We'll have to see how it plays out, I guess. And it's really funny if you go read World War Z, it starts exactly the same as this did. Really? Great.
Well, and that's like, so the book is different than the movie that came out. But I found one of the scariest or most impactful parts of the movie was like at one point, like the main character and his family are sitting in a car in Philadelphia, and they're in traffic, and you know, it's a city, so there's heavy traffic. You're like, oh, what's going on? And then like you see like a cop fly by on a motorcycle, and they're like, oh, you know.
That was in the trailer or something, right?
Yeah. Well, then next thing you know, the zombies are all over Philadelphia, right? Which, I mean, I don't know how you tell the difference between regular Philly and zombie Philly.
Snap!
But like at one point you see like helicopters flying over the city, and they're like, containment failed. I repeat, containment failed. And I'm like hearing like the other day, like they set up a containment area in New Rochelle, and I'm like, are they telling us everything? You know what I mean? And was it World War Z, the movie? So the really scary thing about some of these movies like that, or when they remade Red Dawn, is when they like splice together like actual news stories.
God, I hate that. Yeah.
And you're sitting there going,
wait a minute.
No, but it's like, oh my God, like this is actually like in this scenario.
Yeah.
Not that crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, I'll bug out to Old Forge. There's like 20 people up there.
There you go.
Not many zombies to deal with.
Nah, just hunker down.
And the cool thing with World War Z was, if you went that far north, where it's freezing for 6 months of the year, zombies like freeze and they can't come after you. So
okay, there you go.
I know where I'm going.
There you go.
I know where I'm going.
Planning ahead. So yeah, there's topic 1, coronavirus. I figured, like I said, with it being the talk of the town, might as well fucking chat about it and go our 2 cents about it. But Kev, what's your topic? Topic 2. Was it the what to do during the quarantine, or was it something else?
Well, so being the creative soul that I am, and Bret is,
hey,
we're trying to come up with topics before this, and something I kind of got thinking about was, if you are trying to be how to crochet. If you are trying to like limit your, I think they're calling it social distancing in the news now. If you're trying to limit your exposure, you're at home. Mm-hmm. Basically, every major sports league is done right now. A lot of things that we normally do for entertainment are being recommended you avoid, or they've been canceled.
Right.
So this is like actually kind of this is kind of be a big opening of our individual times in our personal lives, because a lot of things we would normally do, we can't do.
Yeah.
And without sounding like an old, cranky 80-year-old in a nursing home, I do think sometimes, like, all the technology we have that simplifies our life and, you know, adds stuff to it, sometimes we lose out on what people even 30 or 40 years ago used to do to pass the time. And that's, I mean, everybody has different preferences on what they're entertained by or what they do. So, I mean, like, if it makes you happy, you know, do it. But I would say, like, if you're looking for things to kind of fill the time in, like, if you're, after you get home from work, you're just staying at home and stuff. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff that, and actually technology helps with some of this stuff. Like, for example, you got like a lot of really, let's say, old and classic movies out there, right? Like movies that like people that see them can't help but feel like an impact on having watched them, or like the old Godfather movies, 1 and 2, not the third one that was garbage, but the first two. Those were some of the best movies I've seen in my life.
Okay.
Right? But, like, it took somebody, like, prodding me to watch it, you know? But, so, like, you've got, if you're a movie person or whatever, and you don't want to go to the movies to go see a new movie and stuff, I mean, you do have means at home to be able to stream new movies or old movies, things you haven't done before. Like, just because you're not going out doesn't mean you can't broaden your experiences or do new stuff. If you like reading, you got a whole lot of books out there. You can get them on your phone. You can get them on your Kindle. These are books that'll make you laugh, make you cry, educate you, expand your horizons. Like, there's just so much you can still do at home. Or like right now, me and Bret are hanging out. You know,
it just made Animorphs book nice.
Yeah, and I keep seeing stuff where like companies are making things available now to help pass the time, and you can still have, like, if you're my life the last couple weeks has been pretty limited anyway. I know I'm not a carrier at this point in time. You can still do fun stuff.
Under 10 people. No crazy rager.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, follow the proper guidance and stuff, but I just feel like this, like, I was telling Bret when I was hanging out with him last week, as weird as this is going to sound, I used to watch reruns of Criminal Minds, and I always thought it was a great, you know, show or a great premise. I found, like, the topics and whatever really interesting. But so, with everything that's been going on, I've been hanging around the apartment a little bit more, and I see Criminal Minds, the whole show is on Netflix. So I'm like, you know, I've only seen a couple episodes from, like, a couple of seasons. Like, got a lot of time right now. Let's hit episode 1, season 1. Yeah. And it's been really great. I mean, like, I've been able to really enjoy a show that was on the air for a long time. I just didn't have enough experience with it. I'm doing a lot of reading, like a lot of interesting, or to me interesting, maybe not to everybody. This does not have to be a time of pause. It'll be a time of, you know, fall back a little bit. I used to love Criminal Minds. Sarah can't watch it since having kids. Wow. Yeah, no, I mean, I'll tell you what, since I started watching Criminal Minds, I'm like locking every single door. I turn the power off to my garage door at night, you know, like nobody can like be hacking into my thing. If I'm parking in a public space, I like really hide my garage door controller, and like, you know, it does make you a wee bit paranoid. But yeah, the psychology behind like how like they can walk up to a crime and just tell based on the victim and what was done, like they can already form a pretty general idea of what's going on. I think that's incredibly cool. It's like psychics, but like like actually real.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this doesn't need to be. This really does not need to be a time of pause.
No.
Like if you are somebody that likes to game,
yeah,
this can be a time you can download games now over Wi-Fi. You don't have to go to GameStop and stuff. Find a new game to play. Because I mean, lots of games we've played in our lives have been very important to our life. They were important memories for us. Like whatever your passion is, there's for almost everything you could be interested in, there is an avenue for you to enjoy that at home
to do
now.
it. Yeah.
So this, like I said, I don't think this needs to be a time where everybody just is like, oh, well, there goes my life for the next month. No, it's just, it'll be a different life, but it can still be super rewarding.
Yeah.
And enjoyable. I mean, it'll just be a little different. And then in a few months, hopefully we're all back to doing the same normal stupid stuff that we do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
speaking of, I gotta go get ready to play an old game. Have fun. See ya, Jeff. I'll see
see
you
there
in
you
stream
go.
later.
There we go. He's doing it right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think, I mean, it's not much of a topic, but, everybody always tries to make the worst out of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't really need to be that way. You know, in every single thing in your life, you can find a positive about it.
Yeah.
So if you have to stay at home for a little while and not go out as much, do other stuff that entertains you.
Yeah.
Make it through. You'll be healthy. We'll all be laughing about this hopefully in a few months.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like, personally, I've been playing more games, and it's not even, like, playing through stories. It's just, like, I've wanted to get all the trophies in this game, so let's put something on in the background to just have noise, and I'm just going to sit here and zone out for however long, play this game. There are stuff on Netflix that I'm like, you know what? I've been meaning to watch this, just haven't. I should do that. And yeah, eventually, like, there's things even I just want to work on, like personal projects. I'm like, I haven't been very productive lately. Let's see if I can use this time and use it well. But yeah, I get what you're saying, like, people are negative. Dad and I were joking about it at dinner, but, like, everybody normally just wants their own time to themselves. I want to go home, do nothing, or do this, do that. But now that everybody is being told, go home, do this, seclude yourself, everybody, oh, well, now I want to go out. It's the, like, being told you can't do something, you want to go do that type thing.
Well, it's like, I know Saturday I had received an email from the church I go to, and they were like, okay, just so everybody knows, we're still going to be holding service on Sunday unless the state of New York comes out and says, hey, like, those, we want to, they just had general guidelines, like, hey, if you feel at all sick, just don't come. Yeah. You know, it's fine. You're not in any trouble if you don't go.
Sinner.
We all would prefer if you just stayed home, got healthy, didn't get anybody else sick. Yeah. Now, thankfully, I've been healthy. It was a beautiful day. I was like, I'm going to go up. I'm going to go over there. And everybody there was, you know, healthy, and everybody was happy to be there. But obviously, if somebody came out and said, like, tomorrow, hey, no more church for the foreseeable future, okay, then we just don't go. Yeah. But, you know, you can still do things. Just be smart. And if there's any reason to think that you may be sick, stay home. Yeah. Most people are able to stay home, ride this out for 2 weeks. Now, obviously, if you've got, like, serious complications of being sick, well, then, yeah, you want to get to a hospital. Yeah. But, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people that have this, they might have fevers, body aches, chills for a little bit, and then after a few days, it's over. Just, I don't know. Just go about enjoying your life. Do it smartly.
There's alternatives to what you want to do. Not like alternatives like you have to do something different, but there's different ways to approach it. Like the church thing, I know some churches like live stream or like put it on TV. You can still do that. You can do your rosary or however else you pray in your various religion. Like pro sports. Like I think it was the Phoenix Suns. They joked about like, oh, our season's over, but not really. We're gonna be playing NBA 2K for the rest of our season. So like simulating games, doing that. And that's another thing too, like live streaming, like Twitch, I'm sure is blowing up right now. Like so many people are either streaming or want to watch streams. Like they have nothing else to do. Like go hang out with people that way. Like watch a game you like, play a game you like. You already talked about that. Like I mean, books, yeah, there's so many books you can play. Wrestling is a whole different thing. It's still going on, but it's empty arenas now. The backlog of wrestling is fucking huge. You can go watch WrestleMania all the way through if you wanted to, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's just, you just do what you can to get through the next few weeks or, God forbid, next few months.
Yeah.
Because we still don't know if this is going to taper off, like, at the end of winter, like the flu does. We don't know, but at least the way when I was at the academy, your first year there sucks. And you're not allowed to do anything. Like, you're not even allowed to watch movies in your room on your laptop and stuff. Like, that's specifically banned, right? Like, you can't listen to music in your room and stuff. So, you just make little goals for yourself, or you add little things in your life to spice things up. Like, I used to, at the academy, I used to go off campus for a run, and then I could be around normal people, and, I don't know, just do normal stuff, and, bad example, I guess, but, what I'm saying is, just you can add little things into your life, make little goals, because we don't know how long this is going to be like, you know what, in the next 2 weeks, I'm going to read couple new books, or I'm going to watch these movies, or whatever. Just make little to-do lists for yourself, and then at the end you can be like, look at all the stuff I was able to do or get done. This
is the best time if you've ever said, oh, I don't have time to do X, Y, or Z. Now you do. No excuse. You want to work out? Fuck it, you can work out.
And that basement that we all know you're a hoarder and you need to clean, this is a good time to take care of it.
Dad was also mentioning, hey, you do yard work. You gotta catch up on fixing something.
And you're like,
do that.
Dad, no.
I don't want it.
No, I mean, yeah, the big thing is, every year there's something new.
Yeah.
Just ride it out like we always do. Keep the faith. Stay happy. And in a couple of months, we're all gonna be watching the Red Sox working through another beautiful season of baseball, heading to the World Series. It's all gonna be good.
Yeah.
You just gotta give it a few bits of time, units of time, because I don't know if it's gonna be weeks or months yet.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Don't overthink it. When we start thinking about months, personally, I'm like, oh god.
Yeah.
And I think my biggest concern is just selfishly, starting a new job soonish. I think that's my biggest concern. I'm like, so what's going on with that? Other than that, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm good to go.
I'm assuming even if they had to delay training, it's
See, that's the thing. If they got back to me hey, we got a delay, okay. As long as there was that communication,
I mean, I think you're probably fine.
I should be.
They're hiring because they needed a position filled, I mean, it might just be, hey, we're going to need you to come in mid-April. And you're going to be
cool.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. So.
It's just bumping a road, guys. Just,
keep going.
Get back between the lines and keep going down the highway of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look out for deer.
There you go. Look both ways.
Yeah, so not much of a topic, but that's what I offered. That's what I brought to the table today.
It worked. Ooh, do we have a topic 3?
Shit.
We should have wrote this down.
This was your job.
I know. I know we had a loose idea. Vamping, talking to the people who are listening to this. Were we doing this? No, we weren't doing the sequel thing. We were... crap. We talked about that.
Bro, you're falling down on
the
job
I am
here.
falling down on the job. Okay, Kev. Wild card. Wasn't even a topic we talked about. Games that you instantly regretted spending money on or playing. Or just experiences. We don't even have to limit to games. You could be games, movies, TV shows, anything you invested time into and you instantly regretted it. I'll start it off. There was a game called Brink that came out on Xbox 360 and PS3. It was like a team-based shooter, I'm pretty sure it was. There was very little variety in map. Mobility was cool, but every match was the same thing. And there was nothing different. and boy did it suck. And people hated it. It was the worst $60 I ever spent, and it's just like, ugh. It had so much promise too. Like the art style was cool. The characters had, like I said, some cool aspects to them. Like I said, mobility. Picture like kind of like Assassin's Creed, where you could do parkour and like climb certain things, but also you could run, slide. You could jump over and vault over things. It had that aspect that was going for it. But yeah, just like. The game mode was just the same thing overall. Like, it was escort this thing to the point. And like I said, the map, I don't even know if they had multiple maps, but it was the same fucking thing over and over again. It's just like, oh, and it was only online too. There was no story or anything, so it's not like you could go do something different.
Yeah.
It's just so disgusting. Yeah, that was bad.
I have to say Halo 5.
Halo 5?
Because my last time playing that franchise was 3.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play ODST
Okay.
or Reach or 4,
Okay.
whatever. So my last memories of Halo were of a great game that I spent hours of my life playing the storyline, playing multiplayer with my boys, playing online. It was like, what could go wrong? Was it $60-something later? I get Halo 5.
Right.
I paid for early delivery from GameStop. Got it a week later than anybody else.
That's a problem.
Get the game, so excited. Plug it in. After about an hour and a half, maybe, I pulled that game out. I put it back in the case, and I've never touched it since. And guess what? That is $60.
Mm-hmm.
It was more than 60 because I paid for like the early release or whatever. So the $60 for the game would have been bad enough, but then the extra nut to get it early, but then only to get it late. Yeah. It was just a waste of money altogether.
Yeah.
However, Mass Effect Andromeda, or whatever it was called, was terrible. And I had all of these people I knew in college that were huge Mass Effect guys. Were really in, and from what I understand, the early Mass Effect games were supposed to be pretty good if you liked them.
That's what I keep hearing.
Played Andromeda for maybe 45 minutes, shut it off, put it back in the case, realized I might as well just wipe my butt with $60. And then I come to find out later, I'm like going on the Google, the www.google, and I'm like, basically typing in why Mass Effect, and the suggested thing was Andromeda suck. And I'm like,
oh, it's not just me.
And there's reviews saying don't buy this game, and I'm sitting there going, why didn't I look at any of these reviews before I went to the store?
Yeah,
these are all good questions, and yeah, those are the
big ones.
Those are the stinkers that when you say bad video game you wasted money on, right in my head.
See, I'm trying to think of what other game I just was like, no. Oh, okay. This was one I revisited and I played and finished later on. It was actually on stream. There's a game called Catherine. It was on PS3.
Never heard of it.
So it's an anime bullshit game.
Probably trash. Sounds like trash.
The anime. So it's a story about one guy dating a girl and he's not sure about this relationship. And there's a new girl that comes along, and he's like, oh, oh, there's this thing. But you end up cheating on your girlfriend with this girl, and then there's the whole drama, and blah, blah, blah. It turns out that girl is like a succubus, and does that, and kills you for cheating. So the whole game is, it's very confusing. I know. Very confusing.
It's dark as heck.
The whole game is you climbing up these cubes and solving puzzles. It's a puzzle platformer, I guess you could call it. Because at night you have these nightmares and you're trying to escape. If you don't escape, that's when she kills you. The game is so fucking frustrating because there's no time to solve the damn puzzle. So that was the first game I rage quit because I was just so pissed off. I finally went back and beat it. Still hate it. But I was like, whatever, it's done. I never have to play it again. So I don't know if that was a regret of purchase I mean, clearly because I didn't like it, but like, God, that was rough. Yep.
Movie for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Following the same, and the sad part is, I really wanted to see this movie when it was in the theaters.
Okay.
But it was about the time my aunt was getting really sick, so I missed it in the theater. And I totally forgot about it. And my mom said the other day, would you like to come over for dinner? I was like, yeah, of course, sure, I'll come see you and Dad. And then she was like, oh, I picked up this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, is that the movie with? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, great, I wanted to see that, totally forgot about it. The same thing with my dad. He had the same thought process. We all wanted to go see this. We were super excited.
Yeah.
Plug it in.
Uh-huh.
Watch it.
Uh-huh.
Turn it off at the end. Look at each other and we go, what was that about?
Uh-huh.
Storyline made it, and like they set it up where it seemed like it could be a really good story. And then, like, you reach, like, the climax part of the movie, like, and it's, like, within, like, I want to say, like, the real, like, the thing you've been waiting for is in, like, the last quarter of the movie, maybe.
Okay.
And it's over like that.
And,
like, then it's, like, the movie just feels like it got sloppily, like, quickly finished at the end. And I'm, like, really glad I didn't pay to go see this in a theater.
Uh-huh. Now, I'm using my brain. I'm trying to think
Don't do that.
What movie this is. It's a recent movie.
I want to say...
You and your dad would want to go see. I'm like...
I want to say it was like a November to December movie.
Is it superhero related?
No.
Okay, well, there goes X-Men, because that was... that was a train wreck.
Yeah.
Can you give me an actor that was in it, or an actress?
I actually was not starting this to be
a quiz, but
a quiz, but I'm actually liking where this is going.
Okay.
I feel like if I give you the main actor, it's gonna make this way too quick.
Okay. Can you give me a theme of the movie, like the genre?
Space
Movie that came out.
Oh, not Star Wars, because I know that's what you're thinking.
No, well,
but I went and saw it in theaters, so
right. Space movie
about astronauts. Like it's not like it's science fiction, but it's not because like it's not like
an alien.
Yeah,
thing.
it's like just humans a little further along in space travel.
It has to be recent because so it's not like Interstellar or any of that.
No, and actually, similar kind of vein
to
Interstellar, I guess. But I actually really liked Interstellar.
Was it that Chris Pratt and Jennifer?
No, you're talking about Passengers.
Yeah, damn it. Okay.
I actually enjoyed that movie.
I haven't seen it, but
Interstellar was good too. It was a little confusing, but I think I should just put the main actor here.
Okay.
Mr. Brad Pitt.
The Martian came out like...
That was Matt Damon.
Oops!
And that was also a good movie.
Brad Pitt, space.
Tommy Lee Jones. Dude from Men in Black.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you looked confused.
No, like what they were in together, sorry.
Alright, I'm just gonna
go for it. Sorry.
Sorry. It was a movie called Ad Astra.
Oh yeah, I would have never gotten that.
But like it was in theaters and everything.
Okay.
And like if you watch the trailer, it's like his dad was an astronaut, he's an astronaut. But like years before the movie, his dad took off into space on a mission, and everybody believes that he's dead.
Yeah.
But then, like, Earth gets hit by, like, these terrible, like, almost like electric storms from space. And it, like, wipes out, like, all of our colonies except for, like, one on Mars that was underground. And it was affecting Earth badly.
Okay.
And, you know, Brad Pitt's told, like, your dad's not actually dead, and we think he's responsible for the storm. So then he has to go find him.
Huh. Okay.
So I'm like... Okay, this is going to be cool. Like a son pitted against his father, you know, potentially. You also don't know if the dad's a bad guy or a good guy.
Right.
So I'm like, there's like so many ways I would have written this story in my own head, right? And then I watch it, and then I'm done, and I looked at my parents. None of us could figure. Usually, when you if you don't like a movie, it's because you disagree. All right, like other than like maybe you didn't like the acting or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when you don't like a movie, you don't like the message, or you don't like what you felt you were getting from the movie, the vibe of it. This one, I couldn't even say I knew what the vibe of it was. The three of us had no idea what the hell we had just watched for 2 hours. It was just like a...
What was that?
But then we watched another movie right after that to try and rescue the night.
Yeah.
And it was about... it was called Dark Waters with Mark Ruffalo, dude that plays the Hulk.
Yeah, sounds familiar. I have a tough time picturing it, but...
Well, it's like, I think I had heard of it when it came out, but I don't know if it had like a huge theater release or not.
Mm-hmm.
But he was up... Mark Ruffalo was up here in Hoosick Falls because the people there have had screwed up drinking water for like decades. Like some company was dumping chemicals in their water.
Oh, lovely!
And so it's been like a thing the last 15 years. They've been making that company like try and dig up all the bad
stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But so I didn't realize that the reason why he got so into trying to help the people of Hoosick Falls was because of this movie he made, and it was about this big chemical company. This was all a true story. They were dumping their chemicals in like a small town in West Virginia, and like people were getting sick and dying and stuff. And and the worst part was this company knew that this chemical was bad for like 30 or 40 years before the events of the movie, and they were just continuing to make this product and dump it. And the worst part is it's a true story. And then you realize, oh man, that's what happened to the people in Hoosick Falls. But the movie was really good. Acting was pretty good. But, yeah, that Ad Astra, though. Ad Ass.
Ad Astra.
That's what they should have called it, because it was ass. It was terrible.
I'll go off the movie plot. This one's an older one, but Avatar: The Last Airbender. That movie was a big regret to go into the theater for.
Never saw it.
No.
Heard it was bad, though.
It is so bad. Source material, fantastic. The anime, like, I don't know what the fuck M. Night Shyamalan and producers were thinking with this movie. We're gonna pronounce people's names wrong, even though there's literal audio of it.
It's not important.
Everything was just such, like, the main character in the anime, he's like a goofy kid. He doesn't know what he's doing, but he tries his best. And, it's his progression of learning how to control his powers and shit like that. Here he's like a stone, like a brick wall. Not like muscular, but just like no personality at all. And just dead inside. It's like, okay, great. And then it was just all sucked. There was one redeeming scene in it. And if you watch the show, the spirit, that episode, that part in the movie was really good, in my opinion. But the rest of it was just like shaking my head. That was the only time I think I've yelled at the movie screen, like, what are you doing? During it. It's so just gross. And we went to see it in 3D too, so like you paid that little extra money. I think I saw one leaf go by. It was like, no. So there was that, and then there was one Pirates of the Caribbean. I think it was the fourth one.
Oh, that was terrible.
That was with like Penelope Cruz and
Blackbeard.
Thank you. Yeah, this is like
Yeah, that was just Disney trying to make money.
Yeah, the first three were good. I haven't seen this latest one because I'm not sure if I want to give it the time. But like, God.
I went and saw I think what was the last one?
The fifth one.
Yes.
Dead Men Tell No Tales or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's just like
it's okay.
If you haven't seen it, there's no need to add it to your queue.
Yeah.
You know. First one, it's great.
Yeah.
I remember watching that. It was like one of our first DVDs we had in Old Forge when we got our first DVD player.
Nice.
So watch that. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also cool because my sister's class for band, for their concert that winter, they did the whole soundtrack. Which is a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
A lot of really good like violin and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of cool. But fourth and fifth were just doo-doo. Should have stopped it at 3.
Yeah, it was a nice little ending.
But it's, I hate when movies try to stay around past what their expiration date should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Like when things end at like a place where most of the fans are happy, and then they're like, "Oh, we've introduced a new problem," and it's like everybody's screwed now, and we have to, I don't know if you ever saw the show Entourage.
No.
But like season 6, I think it was season 6. All the characters ended the season, and they were all in like a good place.
Mm-hmm.
And now, obviously, that's not how life works. Not everybody ends up with a happy ending or whatever. But like, if you watch the show, you're like, this is a good point.
Yeah.
And then they went on for another. I think it was another season or 2. And like, they made one of the characters go down a path that, like, if you watched all the 6 seasons before, it just never made sense that his character would go down this path, And so, I don't know. I get that you want to make money off of your product, but you don't need to keep going back to the same well.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, we joked about it before, you joked about it before. Fast and Furious, like that.
First 2 were great, I thought. I mean, for what they were.
2's okay. 3, I didn't like. Once it started hitting like 5, I was in, and I'm still in. Yeah, I know. You're not gonna be happy with that, but I get you. Fast, what was it, 7, where Paul Walker had passed? See, that would have been a good ending. Like,
yeah, but see, here's where
walk away.
You look at the first 2 movies.
Yep.
The first 2 movies were all about street racing.
It's all about the racing, yeah.
Right? Makes sense.
Same with Tokyo
Fast and Furious. Too fast, too furious.
Yeah. We hungry.
But I watched Tokyo Drift, and that main actor, like the southern guy,
yeah,
I've seen him in a lot of stuff. I don't know how he keeps getting parts. He's terrible. Alright? But then they go on to Fast and Furious, like, legit 3. Like...
Fast 4.
Did they call it 4?
The Fast and the Furious is 4th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even though Tokyo Drift is technically...
Tokyo Drift was technically
the last
at the
movie.
end of the timeline
Even
until
though,
7.
Even though
then
the phones,
8 comes, and then 9, yeah.
Even though the phones...
Tokyo's in the past! What are you talking about? They ain't futuristic.
But, like, you look at, like... Alright, so let's just ignore Tokyo Drift happened.
Yeah, okay.
Right? So you go 1, 2, 2, apparently 4.
1, 2, 4, then yeah, from there.
Brian's back to being a cop.
Yeah, that was questionable.
And the government that has agencies of highly specialized agents and military, whatever, has to call in street racers to try and infiltrate a cartel. What do we do? Like, what do we do if there's not any road racers available? Just go, yeah, cartel is going to have to keep going for now until we can get some new... No, I mean, like, the fact that, like, these street racers are getting, like, hired on to do, like, secret government black work, I'm like, you've totally left what this franchise was
that
about.
wasn't till Fast 6, dog.
It's all the same crap to me. Like, a buddy of mine and I went to see, I think it was the one before Brian died, maybe?
That was 6.
It was the first one with, Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Maybe that was the movie with
Pretty sure
Paul
that's
Walker.
6. 7, I think, is where, like, he passed. Because they had to split roads.
And then the
5,
song in the background.
Yeah, where everybody cried. And because 5 was The Rock debuting. 6 was The Rock was back, and that's when they got recruited. 7... Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because 5 was the one in Brazil.
Yes.
Right? And then 6 was the one where they end up dealing with Jason
Statham's
Statham's brother.
Yes.
But then 7 is the one where Statham comes in looking at his brother in the hospital bed.
Right.
Like, I'm going to kill everybody that did
right.
this, you know?
And then 8, we're like, oh, we're friends again. Who cares?
Well, so I watched 7 with a buddy of mine in the theater.
Yeah.
Alright. Vin Diesel and Jason Statham are wailing each other with pipes and, like, pipe wrenches. No actual damage being done, right? And then Vin Diesel just starts stomping and causes a parking garage to fall in. And then The Rock hits a bag of grenades on a helicopter with a revolver, which I cannot tell you is a ridiculously difficult shot. I looked at my friend at the end of that movie and we were like, this is possibly the worst piece of crap we've ever get. I mean, you know, like, even that movie, The Room, that everybody always, like, makes fun of, like, I did not hit her. I did not. All right. That movie was terrible, but it's so terrible, it's funny.
Right. It's one of those cult movies.
Like, you actually kind of wonder if it's actually a brilliant movie because of how bad it is. But you watch Fast 7 and it was just like, I'm being assaulted with stupidity. Like,
it's a superhero movie.
This should be a crime against humanity that this movie was made.
Alright. Agree to disagree, but
the level of stupid hit me so hard, I actually felt dumber when I left.
Wow.
That's all I have to say about that.
Fair enough. But yeah, circling back, I understand what you mean by, like, certain cutoff point. Like, that should have been where it ended. Like, circling back to Fast real quick. Yes, 7, nice ending with Brian's character. That could have been it. We didn't need to have...
The only part of that movie that was worth watching.
I mean, yeah, just because you knew going into it what the fuck happened.
We grew up with Paul Walker. That man was part of our childhood. I remember watching the first Fast movie. My sister had a picture on her room wall of the second one with Paul Walker trying to pull that thing off the hood of the car that was like shocking the instruments in his car. Yeah. My sister had that. It was like a big deal when we were kids, but now it's like, nah. I just feel like it's gone on too long.
Fair enough.
It's been dead on arrival since number 2.
Well, they're not going anywhere, so
they're gonna keep making them.
Yeah,
I know this,
dude. Fast 10, they've already confirmed, and it's a 2-parter.
That actually hurts my soul.
Why? You don't have to waste your time with it? You don't care.
No, but like they have like record numbers of people going to see each new one, and I'm sitting there like, oh my god, like we are getting dumber as a people. It's like the fact that like a show like The Bachelorette is still on, you know, or like Survivor.
Yeah,
Survivor
has been
we were kids.
Surviving.
I see these commercials, and I'm like, how is this still on TV? Like, there are people willing to give up an hour of their day to watch a totally scripted show about 5 people on an island, or however many. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my same feeling goes towards the Fast movies. There are people lining up to go put 2 hours and, you know, $10 on tickets and $20 on concessions, because that's how things work, apparently.
You know what? Sometimes we don't need a full, just elegant experience. Sometimes we need just something dumb to laugh at and have a good time.
That's what I have Star Wars for lately.
Yeah.
Things that I can laugh at and say, oh, Star Wars.
Yeah, but
Disney.
But that's the same thing. Some people are like, oh, Star Wars just keep making movies and blah, 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 and yada, yada. And I mean, we kind of agree, but like, we went and saw them.
Yeah, but that's because we're nerds.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, this is where Disney is a predator. They are going... They are hunting the easiest flock of people on Earth, which is nerds. You make a terrible comic book movie like Green Lantern, right? You're still going to make a good amount of money on it because people are going to show up and watch. Okay, maybe not Green Lantern, but you know what I'm saying, though? Like, Iron Man 2, Iron Man 3, not the greatest Iron Man movies, right? But we all paid to go see them. Why? Because we're nerds. What else do we gotta do? Star Wars is sitting there going, oh, we can keep putting Skywalkers in movies, and, you know, Kevin McHale's still gonna go spend like a day's pay on
after shitting on 8 for however long. You can check out that podcast and on the playlist. Yeah.
It's not fair. Disney, you're a bunch of buttholes. They know that I'm gonna give them $10 for a ticket.
Their investment will pay off in the long run. Yeah.
And then they didn't even give me the courtesy when I was
Taking out dinner.
at Disney
Land.
Anaheim. They didn't even let me have the courtesy of going into the cantina.
Yeah.
With all the money I've apparently given them now. Couldn't even get in for like 5 minutes to hear that. But they weren't even playing that.
No, they don't.
We were standing outside the door, nothing. I'm like, how do you have a cantina? No.
Because their workers would literally kill themselves on spot if that was the case.
It's the happiest place on earth, Brad. Nobody would ever do that.
If you kept hearing that song for 8 hours of your work day, you might.
All I know is, to my mind, Disney took a giant steaming crap on one of my favorite franchises. And the woman that was in charge of it initially was known internally to hate Star Wars. It said, like, in her memo, Star Wars is stupid. Well, then why are you in charge of... They should have put me in charge, or some other Star Wars nerd that knows way too much.
Oh,
do you know what kind of rifle the stormtroopers of the Empire have?
No.
It's a DC-10 blaster.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, no, that was the clone rifle. DC-17 was the stormtrooper rifle. See, I'm a nerd. I know these things. I know multiple different types of names of lightsaber combat styles, okay? This is not normal knowledge for an average normal person. Put one of us in charge next time. We'll make you a movie.
There's his pitch, Disney.
I'm just saying. What kind of lightsaber combat style did Mace Windu practice?
Didn't he make his own?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What was it called, though?
Fucking you said it, but I don't know.
Vapod.
Yeah.
Alright, look at that. Make me
the The Mace Windu origin movie? Just do that?
No.
No?
No. My man, may he rest in peace.
Oh, you don't want to bring him back? And
you know, he
survived the...
Well, look at Han Solo, man. Han Solo, great character. He's a rogue. He's out for himself. He has a princess in love with him. Every American man's dream in the late 70s, early 80s. So, what do? They honor him by making a piece of crap origin story.
But it had
movie.
Darth Maul in it, Cab.
I don't care. Alright, because here's the thing about Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I still think, in terms of cinema,
yeah,
more than just science fiction and fantasy and all that.
Okay.
Darth Maul was one of the coolest potential villains ever.
Yeah.
He's got horns. He's got a tattooed face. He's got a double-edged sword. What you saying?
Is it tattooed? Because it seems like his species of people all have the facial markings.
They have
or
horns, but I think the facial patterns are tribal tattoos.
Okay. All
because that scene where they go to arrest the Chancellor.
Yeah.
There was a Jedi there who was also a Zabrakian who had horns, but he didn't have tattoos,
right.
which makes sense because they pick up Jedi as babies and take. So he probably wouldn't have had the markings put in place yet.
Fair enough.
Or maybe he's just a member of that particular species that maybe doesn't have. I don't know. I thought it was tattoos. Either way.
Fair enough. Yeah.
My man is a BAD ass. And what do? They cut him in half and send him down a pipe. That's when Disney should have just said, oh man, we screwed the pooch. No more of these prequel movies. But that's not what they did.
But now he's got spider legs.
That's stupid. My man gets cut in half and falls down a turban or something. And there's like an explosion or something down below at when after. If you watch, there's
the
like
Emperor.
there's no.
The Emperor had the explosion. Darth Maul did not. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, you might be right.
But
be that as it may,
yeah,
the tunnel or whatever it is goes so far down you can't even see the bottom. My man's cut in half, which is a mortal wound. I dare you to find a human being today that gets cut here. Nothing. How does my man pee or poop? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now you're telling me, after that insult to his existence, He falls down an infinite shaft and survives. Eat me, Disney.
He took his saber and went into the wall and put the brakes on, and then I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
Eat me, Disney. And who went down there to get him?
I don't know. Somebody one of the workers just like, hey, there's a body.
Also, in all these Star Wars buildings, why are there just these gigantic chasms? Right? Like Luke and Leia in the Death Star. They have to go over this canyon, which, in a space station of limited size, why is there like a canyon in the middle of this space station? And then Obi-Wan's going around and screwing around with
he's got a
thing,
shimmy
right?
around the little pole.
He's on this thing that's attached to a bridge that, you guessed it, is over a gigantic canyon in a limited space station. Naboo. They're having that battle with the Duel of the Fates or whatever playing in the background, right? And you look, and there's just these bridges going everywhere to these structures that make no sense. And people, if you fall, you're gonna die, because apparently Naboo just goes right to the core. And then you're like, oh, tight. Like, now they're like going into this little passageway, and it's got these red laser doors for some unknown reason that just, if they're for security, I don't understand, because they go up after like a few seconds or so. And then they make it into the next room, and guess what? Gigantic freaking black hole in the middle of this build. Like, who builds this? Who sits there and thinks, this is not, this is a safe working environment? If you're the dude changing light bulbs in there and you trip, guess what? You're falling 1,000 times 1,000 feet.
Nobody would know.
I'm just saying, somebody needs to talk to the architects in most of the Star Wars galaxy.
If that's the case, why are you leaving a 2x2 or whatever meter hole for the Death Star to just go if you shoot something happen to go in here? Yep.
That was at least explained, though.
True.
In Rogue One, which, by the way, I thought was a great movie. Because even though you know where the story's going to go, the entire time, you're like,
they're going to make it.
They're going to make it.
Yep.
Exactly. And when a movie is able to have an outcome that you already know and still give you hope for the other outcome, that is well done.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That is just... But at least they explained that womp rat-sized hole. Alright? Also, how come nobody talks about the fact Luke Skywalker was a bit of a dick? They're flying around a fully armored space fortress with other enemy aircraft coming at them. And then they have to shoot these torpedoes, which I don't understand how when you shoot torpedoes like this, they just happen to curve. Whatever. But you have a pilot that's sitting there at the briefing, and he asks a very logical question, like, how the hell are we supposed to hit that? And Luke's like, oh man, I hit womp rats that are about that size, so it's, you know, like, what a dick.
Yeah.
He's like that guy when you're sitting there in, like, the middle of a hard test, and you're like, oh man, we didn't learn this, or I should have studied more, and you have this guy like, no problem, guys, just we weren't prepared for this. Dude, no, shut up. I'm just saying, Luke Skywalker, no way, if I had written that story, would have survived the first movie. Somebody would have shot him in the briefing. Like, this kid's a dick, alright? Like, we're all agreed, kid's a dick.
Wow.
Or, like, pull the fuel out of his X-Wing or something. Also, why do spacecraft make sounds in space? It's Star Wars.
It turned into its own topic.
Starkiller Base sequel movies. You look at the Death Star and how it fires its beam. It makes sense in a way. We're not going to get into the physics of a battle station that can destroy a planet, but at least when it fires a beam, it's like a laser. Starkiller, it's like they shoot it and then the light starts bending. That's not how light works. That's not how energy works.
But it's the future, Kev. Or is it the past?
It was a galaxy far, far away a long time ago.
Yeah,
all right.
The past. Maybe that's how physics used to work. And then something happened.
And also, nobody's ever been able to explain to me. And again, I love Star Wars. How when you turn on a lightsaber, which is
it stops.
A sword made of light, it stops. Because if I hold a flashlight up,
it just keeps going.
I can't adjust anything to make the beam stop here. These are the things
that keep them up at night.
Yeah.
It's not Criminal Minds, it's this.
Well, Criminal Minds is scary.
Mm-hmm.
But Star Wars at times can be horrifying with the implications. Implications.
Who's to say?
Also.
Yep.
This last movie.
Uh-huh.
Certain somebody, just in case anybody hasn't seen it.
Right.
Spoilers, kind of. Certain somebody that we've all just assumed has been dead for a very good reason for many movies comes back.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Got a couple problems with that. Anyway. He's back. He's on a planet that's impossible to get to unless you have the certain map coordinates or understand how to get through it.
Right.
Builds a fleet of starships. Big starships. Nobody notices. Where did he get the materials? The planet he was on did not have a mining or industrial sector. Everybody knows, or at least I know, that the Star Destroyers of the past were built at Kuat shipyards. Okay? That was a big deal. It's a big operation. Lots of people working. These ships just appearing around a planet with one dude and a bunch of scary, creepy audience people like a Jimmy Kimmel show.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here? Who built the ships? Where did the officers come from for these ships?
Did they take any remaining forces and maybe bring them to that planet? Or do you think everybody who
Brett,
was part of Empire went to the Order?
Brett, you and I know, as well as anybody.
Yeah.
There is no basis for that in the original movies. The way the original movies are left, Empire's gone.
Uh-huh.
Emperor's dead. His junkyard dog, dead.
Mm-hmm.
Alright? Space station, destroyed.
Right.
Okay? What fleet?
Well, do you assume every fucking ship they had was there?
No. Because,
okay, well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
like,
but your emperor was killed.
Right. So you gotta retreat. Go somewhere.
Why?
Why do you have to
For
retreat?
30 or 40 years, these dudes are just meeting up somewhere like, remember the good old days of the Empire? Let's
Well,
keep
they
these
must
ships.
have known about this alternative.
Who's paying the sailors on these ships?
I don't know. Credits? We don't take credits here. I don't...
I'm just saying. The infrastructure of the Empire would have been destroyed. You have to imagine, Brett.
Uh-huh.
The entire governance of this empire was taking place from Coruscant.
Okay.
Once the Republic transformed.
Right.
Coruscant became the heart of the new Republic.
Right.
So all the administrative offices for these fleets that maintain these guys, give them vacation pay, health benefits, retirement, resources to keep their ships running, those are all gone, Brett.
Right.
You're telling me an entire fleet of ships like this is being maintained without the administrative and bureaucratic machine required to maintain such a fleet? And also, I think we're led to believe that the fleet that they had in this weird planet was bigger than anything the Empire originally had.
Huh.
How? These, and I know what you're thinking. These are ridiculous questions, Kevin. It's a science fiction movie. Well, let me tell you what. Following in the great tradition of Clerks 1,
Uh-huh.
where a very well-done Star Wars discussion was being held
Right.
in a convenience store in New Jersey.
Right.
I follow that noble tradition of questioning the Star Wars canon.
Mm-hmm.
For example, like they said in Clerks 1, Death Star 1, it's a full military base at this
Right.
point. Okay?
Yeah.
No big deal. Destroy it. The second one, it's in construction. There's probably union workers in there installing tile, plumbers installing toilets, because as they so astutely pointed out, stormtroopers aren't installing garbage disposals.
Right.
Also, question, seeking your opinion on this.
Sure.
First Star Wars movie ever, they shoot the grate and they dive into a garbage compactor.
Yeah.
There's a critter that lives in there.
Yeah. How does it survive getting compacted?
That, and where the hell did it come from? Did the Empire install that in their trash? Because if so, bravo. Bravo.
Yeah, yeah.
What the hell? And, like you said, walls crush in.
Yeah, yeah.
Where the hell does it go?
Yeah, yeah. I assumed that maybe it has its, like, there's a door that opens to release it, and, like, it can go back in. Because I think they hear some noises before you see the actual eye come up.
Yeah, and
so maybe...
Well, and he flees before the wall starts. And
right.
He stops screwing with them. But where does he go?
So maybe he's got his own little home. I don't know.
So what you're saying is the Empire did install him.
So if they did install him in there, because how else is he getting in there?
This is my question.
Does he like squish and then is he like malleable where he can like become squished in that?
Or borrowing from work experience that I have, did somebody poop out like a baby and he ended up in the sewage system or whatever, and then... Or did he grow out of somebody's butt?
Also feeding off your experience, maybe he was brought accidentally like those spiders from Cargo, and somebody threw him in there to get rid of him.
But that doesn't make any damn sense.
What?
You're telling me that a bunch of stormtroopers are just walking around, they find this gigantic lizard creature...
Well, no, I'm saying like they got Cargo.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. They were like, hey guys, look what I just came across. Who wants to bring this thing down to the garbage compactor? Oh, dude, let's get the whole platoon on it? I call BS.
Well,
where'd they get him in through? The grate or that door on the side?
Well, like I said, he wasn't supposed to be there. They were checking their stormtrooper like orders that they got, and he just happened to be stowed along of this...
Have you lost your mind? Because I'll help you
You
find
asked my opinion! I'm giving it.
I'm just saying, again, we could have an entire 4-hour podcast about this topic. Star Wars.
And yet we didn't even think about it.
Yeah, which seemed such a swing and a miss on our part.
Yeah. Oh well. This has been another episode of the Wait, What Are We Talking About podcast, episode 65. My name is Bret, aka Enigma911, and today I was joined once again by Kev. Kev, thank you for hopping on the podcast. I do appreciate it.
It's good that you be here, Bret.
Yeah. Remember, guys, you can catch this podcast live over on twitch.tv/Enigma911 every first and third Saturday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern, unless we pre-record it. You can join in on the conversation like Uber, Brent, and Jeff did today. We'd love to have you guys in here chatting with us. But if you can't catch it live, you can always catch it the following Friday over YouTube and SoundCloud as one big video and MP3 for your amusement. If you ever have a topic for us that you'd like us to discuss, just put it in the comment section down below and we'll try our best to get to it. And last but not least, remember guys, this is brought to you by the merch store. You can get all of your swag over there, t-shirts, cups, backpacks, and more. Rep the brand, support us. It would be greatly appreciated. Kev, thanks for being on once again. I'm sure it won't be the last one, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll figure it out.
Be excellent to each other.
Yeah, there you go. But thank you guys for watching and listening, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Take care.